Okay, we're now live, so we'll call the meeting to order, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll ask our district attorney to give us, if he wore a tie, to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States
of America,
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you very much. Note for the record, we have a quorum. Commissioner Dominic joined us during the Pledge of Allegiance. Timing is perfect. Mr. Salfinelli's here. Mr. Ruggiero's here. The sheriff, the warden, the controller, and Commissioner Notarianni. So we do have a quorum. So first item, I trust everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes that Tracy so diligently sends us every month. So assuming that you've had an opportunity to review them, and I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do I have a second? On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The minutes from last month's meeting are approved. So now, with respect to the agenda items, Trace, I know we have some emails. I didn't get a chance to go through them all, but do they pertain to any of the agenda items, or can we have those at the end of the meeting?
Most of them, I believe we can read at the end of the meeting. There's one that I'm going to read now because she's making reference to something that's in Tim Betty's report, in the Wardens Report.
Okay.
So it's from Stephanie Bressler from Scranton, Dr. Stephanie Bressler. She says, to the Lackawanna County Prison Board, we hear every month from the controller that the canteen funds boast hundreds of thousands of dollars. This money is generated from a negotiated profit of 38% from many overpriced commissary items. This month, the controller reports more than $616,000 in the account and more than $147,000 in CDs, totaling more than $750,000. The broadly written policy allows for utilization of these funds for the benefit, education, and welfare of inmates. This broad policy allows these profits to serve as a reserve fund for prison purchases that might not meet the stricter scrutiny of the budgetary process. As a result, the high and unfair costs of commissary translates into inmates and their families paying for goods and services not covered in the budget. The current commissary contract is due to expire early next year. The contract can be renewed for 2 one-year extensions. Will the board commit to either 1, renegotiating with the contractor early next year to lower prices by decreasing the county's profit percentage, or 2, issuing a new RFP to find a contractor who will agree to these changes?
Tim, do you have an expiration date on the contract?
It's in February of 2022. I don't have the exact date, but
Okay.
Do you feel that the price of the items in the commissary are overpriced?
If you were speaking to me, Commissioner, I apologize. We've been through this before, and frequently allegations are made that we're taking advantage of the situation, not just Lackawanna County prisons in general. There is a pricing that is, I always say, equal to going to a convenience store, right around there. It's not grocery store pricing. Just use tea bags, for instance. I know in the past we've been confronted about that, and there is these companies that are in business are the ones setting the price, and the only wiggle room we have as a county is the profit margin that we'll be working off of. the monies do go into that canteen account, and we try to use them for things that would benefit the inmate population.
Have you found that this is money that's spent on things other than what's to the benefit of the inmates?
No, as a matter of fact, back in 2019, the prison board pretty much dictated a policy to us for us to follow regarding there are certain automatic things that we can use the funds for, like haircuts, for the library computer service, things along those lines. There's some automatics, but anything else, including a couple items I have on this month's report, are things that I need to get the permission of the board to consider using those funds.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner, just to follow up on that, the use of those funds is not a legal mandate. That is our own internal policy that the board has decided to use those funds to benefit the prisoners. We're not restricted by law to that purpose.
Not, but we do use them for the inmates. So actually, it's a good program.
Yes.
And I can add too, I mean, the policy was instituted so that there would be some constrictions on what the money would be used for, and to ensure that it would not be used for anything that didn't have some sort of benefit for the inmate population. So that's why we put the policy in place to begin with.
Okay.
I have a question. Tim, the items that the inmates can purchase, are these necessities, items that they would need to be able to have basic hygiene and basic comfort, or are these items that they could purchase if they want an additional snack or additional benefits of some way? What are they purchasing, or what are the options?
I guess you could say for the additional things. A really good example is this: is we issue them inmate uniforms. However, they can, through the commissary, purchase a prison authorized sweatshirt. We're giving them shirts. We're giving them T-shirts as well, for instance. But if they want to purchase a sweatshirt because they're chilly, they can certainly do that through the commissary account. That's a perfect example. Of course, they can buy Snickers bars and and drinks and ramen noodles and things along those lines as well.
How about basic, the needs of razors and toothbrushes and things of that nature? Are they supplied, or do they have to purchase?
They are supplied, but at the same time, individuals could decide to purchase their own approved toothbrush, for example. We'll give them a toothbrush. They might not like it because depending on where they are, it might be one that slips over your finger and you have to brush your teeth like that. But otherwise, they'll get a regular toothbrush. It's just not a real fancy or expensive one. And they can purchase one if they so choose.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. And is that the only one that,
Yes, I believe so. That
Grace?
pertains to the agenda, yes.
okay. So we'll move on to the next. I suppose actually before we do that, the last part of that question from Dr. Bressler talked about the board committing to either renegotiate with the contractor or issuing a new RFP, and that's certainly something that we can consider and talk about ourselves.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
All right. So let's move on. First item on the agenda, 21-2026, a motion to approve current payables for the Community Correction Center and the prison. Again, I trust everybody had an opportunity to review what was sent around, and assuming that you have, I'll entertain a motion to approve those payables.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay, on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Current payables are approved. Next, we'll go to Controller DeVillio for your monthly report.
Yes, Your Honor. Controller's report for the month of March of 2021. The Controller's Office reviewed the prison inmate and canteen account reconciliations, which were prepared by the Prison Business Office for the month of March 2021, and found no discrepancies between the reconciliations and the bank statements. The balance in the inmate account was $598,201.33 as of March 31st of 2021. The balance in the canteen checking account was $616,954.24 as of March 31st. And in addition, as of March 31st, the canteen account owned 2 certificates of deposit, one valued at $15,000 even, and the other at $132,288.58, totaling $147,288.58. And that concludes my report for March of 21.
Anybody have any questions for the controller? And if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve his report.
Motion.
Second.
On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. The report is approved. Thank you, Mr. DeVillio. Okay, we'll go to I'm getting some feedback here. I don't know if it's on my end or somebody,
Sure.
but and anyway, we'll go to the Community Correction Center report. Mr. Jeffers, welcome.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. How are you today?
I'm fabulous. Thanks for asking.
Good. That's great. Our work release, or I'm sorry, our house arrest totals for the month of March. The program totals item number 1, adult house arrest had 141 participants in it, and juvenile house arrest had 10. Item number 2, the program's revenues for the month of March totaled $61,269.68. Item 3, our program's expenses were $113,473.17. Our program's completions were 34. Item 5, our program's violations were 8. Item 6, our program's warrants are 5 for work release, 4 for house arrest. And the budget report, item number 7, is overtime is at 2%, expenses at 22%, and revenue is at 28%. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them for you, sir.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Jeffers?
Nope.
Just a quick plug, Your Honor, if I may. We're having another vaccination clinic up on Montage Mountain next Wednesday, the 28th. Hometown Healthcare of NEPA is hosting it. They can go onto their Facebook page and sign up for appointments. It's the Pfizer vaccine. There is 1,700 appointments taken already. There's about 2,300 left. So if anybody wants to sign up for that, they can also go to our website or call 211. Please get vaccinated.
Why don't you tell everyone how the percentage of the people that have already been vaccinated in Lackawanna County?
Well, yeah, thank you, Commissioner. Obviously, everybody, I'm sure, read it in the paper yesterday. We are the top county in the state for with the largest populations. We're 3rd overall. We're behind Forest County and Montour County, which equal about 26,000 residents combined. Our percentage rate is at 46% right now. That does not include the numbers so far this week, and we've had several clinics this week. We also have several more this week. There's a first shot that's going on that's a private one over at one of the colleges, and then there's 2 shots. The second shots, there's 2 of them on Saturday, and we will be hosting a clinic on the 27th and the 28th. So our numbers are going very well. We're just encouraging everyone to get vaccinated. We need to get to the 75% percentile so that this county can open up full throttle and start hosting festivals in the summer again, and the parks and all that kind of stuff where people can gather. Hopefully then our rail riders can open up to more than 25%. Without the 75%, the county will not be able to host a lot of these events that are coming up in the late summer and early September area. So I encourage everyone to get vaccinated as quickly as they possibly can. There are multiple clinics either in progress right now or coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Ryan, a couple of questions. Any of these clinics, are there a residency requirement?
There is no residency requirement, Your Honor. The vast majority of them are actually coming from Lackawanna County. However, we have vaccinated folks from all over the East Coast, to be quite honest with you. You have to understand also that a lot of the students that are in the local colleges have been getting vaccinated too, so their numbers don't count for Lackawanna County. However, they live amongst us for the 9 months that they're here, so it's very important that they get vaccinated also.
But you're checking the residencies, right? You're not excluding people, but you are checking them just to keep track of how many people from our county are getting vaccinated.
That is correct. Everyone has to fill out on the registration form their home address. It's really by zip code, to be quite honest with you. They're not really paying attention to the street addresses, but by zip code. And then that data is uploaded into the Department of Health's portal, and the Department of Health breaks it through the zip codes, to be quite honest with you. So they're not necessarily saying, Dunmore at 18510 is getting more than Scranton at 18510. It's just 18510. So yeah, and then the rest of them that are not within our zip code will go to their home zip codes in their home counties and states, whether it's localized counties or it's out of state. So we have seen quite a few that are coming in from all over the area to participate in this vaccination clinic, but the vast majority are Lackawanna County residents.
Okay. And the other question I have for the event you mentioned next Wednesday, is that a first shot?
That is the first shot for Pfizer, yes. I don't mention the second shot ones because obviously they're already signed up for it. It's the individuals that already had their first shot and they go to it. However, the county is involved with just about every single one of these clinics in one way or another, whether it's through supplies or manpower or any type of help. But yes, next Wednesday, like today's is a second shot that's being held at Montage. I just got a call that it's actually snowing at Montage right now with a few flakes coming down, which is typical for us in this area, but there is no spring. It's strictly winter and summer anymore around here. But so today's is a second shot that took place on the 31st of March. There was 3,600 individuals that got the shot that day. So they're getting second shots today. Next week is a first shot mass vaccination site up at the clinic up at the Montage Amphitheater.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
No other questions for
Thank you,
Mr. Jeffers? Okay. Thanks.
Have a great day, everyone.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve Mr. Jeffers' report. Second,
Second.
on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. The Community Correction Center is approved. How about the Warden's Report? Mr. Petty?
Good afternoon, Board. The average daily population for March 2021 was 576 inmates, 414 of whom were county inmates. We averaged 512 adult males, 4 juvenile males, and 60 adult females. And the average daily population of U.S. Marshal Service detainees for the month of March was 162. The overtime and out-of-county boarding reports are attached. The staffing update, currently our correctional officer numbers break down to 173 uniformed staff on shift, 2 out on workers' comp, 1 on continuous FMLA, 61 with intermittent FMLA, 2 on administrative leave due to COVID-19 precautions, and 2 full-time vacancies for 180 full-time officers. We had a new class of cadets start basic training last Wednesday on the 14th, and they'll be on shift May 14th. The budget.
How many in that class, Tim?
There are 7.
Okay.
And I have them counted in those numbers that I just reported, the 173 uniform. They're not really yet on shift, but I counted them in there. So that 173 right now is really 167. Yeah, had to do my math real quick. The budget as of March 31st, 2021, revenue was at 25% and expenses were at 27%. The inmates at or past their minimum dates, 8. We have 6 who have been remanded for the balance of their sentences, and 2 who have submitted home plans, and parole is hopefully pending. Extraordinary occurrence reports. There were 3 in the month of March. On March 8th, a county inmate already on a suicide watch was observed to be covering his cell's camera with leftover food. Staff explained to this inmate that we cannot allow him to do this, especially since he was on a suicide prevention watch, and that if he did not comply with orders to keep his cell's camera uncovered, we would have to place him into the emergency restraint chair to ensure that he was not attempting to self-harm. Unfortunately, this inmate did not comply, and staff had to enter the cell and place him into the ERC. On the 14th, this same inmate was observed banging on his cell door, and he had suffered a laceration on his hand due to the banging. Staff once again had to enter a cell and place him into the ERC. The nursing staff then addressed his laceration in a safe manner. And on March 31st, a county inmate was acting irrationally, and ultimately he damaged the sprinkler head in his cell. When attempting to move him to a new cell, the inmate became non-compliant with orders, and he spit into the face of an officer. A decision was made to place him into the ERC with a spit hood on due to his behavior and the risk it posed to the inmate and his staff. There are 2 more that were part of my initial report. We had 2 events happen late Monday night and into Tuesday morning. We had a county inmate who was being transferred to another facility by prison staff, and he was handcuffed and shackled and belted into the vehicle. However, he was able to slip out of the seatbelt, and he kicked out the back window of the vehicle during the transport, and he was able to get out of the vehicle, which had pulled over for due to the inmate's activities. The inmate attempted to run into nearby woods and was quickly apprehended by the transporting officers. He was then taken to a local hospital for examination and evaluation. Subsequently, he's been charged by the Pennsylvania State Police with escape. And then on 4/20, early morning hours of 4/20, the same inmate, he came back from the hospital. The prison psychiatrist had ordered placement into 4-point humane restraints because of his conduct, behavior, and his continuing to express suicidal ideations. Prior to putting him into the 4-point restraints, we had to use the emergency restraint chair to transport him from the sheriff's van into the cell and into the bed with the 4-point restraints. PREA, there were two PREA investigations completed in the month of March. One was an inmate on inmate allegation of sexual harassment, and the other was an allegation of staff on inmate sexual misconduct. Both investigations were unfounded. The investigation notes were forwarded to the district attorney's office for review. Canteen account requests. I'm seeking authorization or conditional approval from the prison board to use canteen accounts to purchase an ion scanning equipment for our mailroom. The purpose of the ion scanning equipment is to limit staff and inmate exposure to harmful substances, to help curb possible dangerous reactions to drug-tainted mail, possibly assist law enforcement personnel with investigations into drug smuggling activities, and to reduce potential overdoses and healthcare-related matters due to exposure to illicit drugs. At this point in time, we're researching several companies who provide various types of equipment that can assist us with our endeavor.
Tim,
Yes.
another reason for that is for the attorney mail, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because we're scanning, you're scanning all of the mail so that the inmates don't physically get the mail. They only get it on the tablets, correct?
That is correct. Yes.
But it's the law that mail from an attorney has to be opened in front of the prisoner and given to him or her. But you're finding from speaking with Deputy Warden Shanley that there are some people pretending to be lawyers, but actually aren't. So it's my understanding that if you get this wand, you'll be able to open it in front of the prisoner and scan it and see if there's drugs on the paper in order to try to get rid of drugs coming in through fake attorney correspondence.
Yeah, we are seeing a significant increase in legal mail that's not really legal mail. And they are, some of the times they are using real attorneys' names and addresses and making it look very much like it. This ion scanner, not only once it's open, we'd potentially be able to catch it before it's even opened, because there would be residual drugs on the outside of the envelope as well. So again, we're trying to shut down one more avenue of the attempts to introduce contraband, illegal substances into the prison.
I'll just add too, and I think I mentioned it last month. We received notification from the administrative office of the Pennsylvania courts of instances where mail purporting to be from a court to an inmate was actually fabricated and forged. And so when you talk about legal mail, you're including mail from the courts as well.
Yes, yeah, and it's a constant battle for us. I feel like we're always playing catch up. We're shutting down as many avenues as we can of potential contraband introduction. And like I said, since we're doing a really good job, I believe in everything else that we've done, this is now the latest attempt is fake legal mail.
And the state prison systems, they use it, right?
Yes, they do. There's a particular company that they're utilizing, the Department of Corrections, that is, and that is one of the companies that we're looking at the equipment. The second thing on the canteen account request is I have an intergovernment agreement with PennDOT. I'm looking for authorization to use canteen funds to assist obtaining photo IDs and driver licenses for qualified inmates who are pending release from prison. Now, currently, there's no fee associated with it. There's something called a waiver 49 fee, and any costs associated with getting someone who's leaving the jail a photo ID or driver's license, it's covered by that. The reason I'm mentioning it now is, 6 months from now, a year from now, that waiver fee it could go away. It's not a real expensive thing, and if it does go away, I think that utilization of the canteen proceeds is a really appropriate thing here, because of the fact that it's really going to help inmates being released be able to obtain benefits, to be able to get a job. I mean, one of the biggest factors for someone getting out of jail not getting a job is the inability to provide photo ID of some sort to the potential employer. So this will really help that individual, because whether it's a driver's license or a photo ID, it's going to be from the department, from PennDOT. So very, very helpful if we can do that. So right now, no fee, but in the event that the waiver goes away, I would be seeking the approval of the board to utilize inmate canteen account funds to pay for that on the behalf of the inmates. And then the last thing I have to report is the vendor contracts. Our current inmate communication services contract is between Lackawanna County and GTL, which is Global Tellink Corporation. The contract right now expires on June 30th of this year. I'm requesting that the board provide a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners to move to a month-to-month extension, because again, the contract expires on June 30th. We could do that and then approach the Board of Commissioners to see how they want to move forward, whether they wanted to put out another RFP or treat it as a professional service, however they wanted to do it. And there's kind of a tie-in with another company that provides consulting services for us, known as Pracies. It makes things a little bit more complicated. So really, that's what if I can have the board's approval to recommend this to the Board of Commissioners, I can then kind of open up discussions about, okay, what are we doing with both contracts here? And how do we move forward with that? And I think the best way to go about that is with a month-by-month extension for GTL at this point in time.
Judge, you may remember we had a very confusing conversation and it's been a while. So now I think Pracies and GTL are they go hand in hand. So as long as we have a GTL contract, we have to have this existing contract. We have to have Pracies
As our consultant.
If we wanted to RFP or RFQ, I don't know when you use which, but if we were going to RFP, we'd have to RFP GTL first, get a new service if we find somebody that's more competitive than GTL. And then if once that's in place, then we can RFP if we wanted Precies. Is that how it works, Trace?
Yes, if we wanted to keep a company such as Precies as our consultant, if we felt like we didn't need them and we wanted to do what they're doing in-house, which is something that the warden and his deputy warden and I had a conversation about the other day, you know, we could discuss that further down the road.
So I think right now we just have to renew it month to month. And while we're doing that, we can get an RFP for telecommunications at the prison, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
How
If
long do you
everyone's, yeah, if everyone's okay with that.
how long do you anticipate the month-to-month extensions, Tim? How many months?
If
Roughly.
if the course of action is that we'd be putting out an RFP, probably 6 months in order to give ourselves enough time to advertise that, get response, evaluate it, interview the different companies that do that, and make a determination for a recommendation. I would say probably till December.
Now, when we hired Precies, we put an RFP out for that at the time. And you are, so far, they've been working very satisfactorily.
Precies?
They are, Jerry, but I think that what we've come to the conclusion of is that really the only service that, I mean, if you look at the current contract, the amount that we're being charged is quite hefty. I mean, you and I and Chris can look it over together sometime, but I think at this point, the only service that they're really doing that they're really performing on our behalf is ensuring that the percentage that we're entitled to for the tablets and the phones come to us. So the question that Tracy and I were talking about earlier is whether or not we can do something like that in-house. Not only save money, but possibly, like, you know, we wouldn't need that third party. So that's something that we are going to look into. But I think first we have to see if GTL, who Tim is very happy with, but for purposes of the tablets and the phone system, just to do a 6 month to month until we do an RFP and see who we're going to use as our provider. And then we can deal with Precies after that.
Okay.
And then Tim, I meant to ask, I'm sorry, Mark, did I cut you off?
Go ahead, finish.
Mark brought up last time Mark brought up something involving that wand, that ion drug detection. He wanted to know about warranties. I think it was you, Mark. I could be wrong. Did you get any of the answers for that?
The only answer I got so far is the one company that provided us with information that there's a 1-year warranty involved.
And then is there, what else did you want to know, Mark? Was something about an ongoing fee or?
So, you know, what degree of training was necessary for it? What, you know, was there a maintenance contract with it? You know, any additional information if we're purchasing something for $20-some thousand. I think we all agree that it's needed and necessary. We're just wondering if it's the best product and what additional costs come along with it.
Now, it's my understanding that Captain Walsh was kind of taking the lead on that. Is he checking with all the companies, or how is he determining which company to go with? Just basically depending on how much they're charging, or?
Well, kind of a combination. First and foremost, he was really looking at the company that is utilized by the Department of Corrections, because he's working off the assumption they did their homework. Now, we'll do our own due diligence there, but he did get me some paperwork on 2 other companies, and I got to be honest with you, one of the companies, I won't mention it, it is almost double the price of the company used by the Department of Corrections.
Why don't you have Captain Walsh decide on the most economically feasible company, and then maybe draw up a memo to the prison board addressing Attorney Powell's concerns and just telling us like what kind of training will be required, the warranty period. What else did you ask? I keep forgetting, Mark.
Maintenance agreement too, that's an important one.
Yeah, maintenance and anything else that you know, that comes into play with it. And then maybe next time we could potentially vote on it. Is that okay, Judge?
Sounds good. I'm all right with that.
If I could just have a follow-up question on the other issue, the month-to-month extension, that's, I assume, same terms and conditions of our existing contract?
Yes.
Have you broached that with GTL at all yet, that might be coming down the road?
Warden?
Tim?
I'm sorry, I didn't realize there was some feedback. I didn't know you were talking to me. Sorry, Your Honor.
Okay,
I have not broached that with them, but the original contract allowed for either 2 one-year extensions, and we've already implemented one of those 2 years, or
Uh-huh.
a month to month. So it's all part of the original.
all right.
contract several years.
Is there a provision in the contract that says if you're going to do that, you have to give them so many days notice in advance of electing to do that?
Not that I'm aware of, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay.
Dave, can you possibly look at that contract and see if we have to give them notice? I think, Judge, we did talk about potentially trying to alter the terms of the agreement, but since we're only going to do it for 6 months, that's going to fly by. We might as well just keep it the way it is and get the focus on getting the RFP out. But maybe if we have to put them on written notice of this month to month, if Dave can maybe take a look at that contract and let us know what we need to do.
Yeah, as long as we just send them a letter and we have it in writing, then we're fine.
Okay.
Just
Yeah,
email me that contract, Tracy, when you get a minute.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Anything else on that?
I was going to say, I think that concluded my report. Yes, it did.
What's the COVID situation like?
Currently, I have 2 officers. I mentioned that earlier. 2 officers who are out on precautions. We have, I believe, we have 1 block that right now is in isolation stage because we've had a few individuals, 9 or 10 individuals who tested positive. I'm not aware of anybody being symptomatic, but because we had a couple people test positive, they went in, our new medical provider went in and tested everybody in that block. And there was enough that we said, okay, what we'll do is, just to be safe, we'll quarantine this block. So we have a block under quarantine. We have in that block of about, it holds up to 60. I think there's about 45 individuals in there, and we have 10 of them who have tested positive recently on the instant test.
Okay.
And Tim, how's the medical, just briefly, the medical doing and our 3 new specialists that we made the positions? How's everybody working together?
Everybody seems to be working together very well.
I know we have they had started a behavioral health program, and I was told by Lindsay Cochran, who I believe is a substance abuse mental health supervisor, she indicated that since February, 109 inmates have already signed up for that. And that's when they're assessed and given like coping skills and mechanisms that they can apply now while on the inside, but also on the outside. And they're given counseling and things of that. Is that accurate?
It is 100% accurate. And I know that the 3 individuals that got hired from the county are very, very busy. So that's a good thing. We knew the demand was here for that service, and they're fulfilling that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else for the warden? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve this report.
So moved.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. On the question? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The warden's report is approved. Thank you, Warden.
Thank you.
Stick around. We have a couple more questions, and you may be able to provide some information on that, please. So, Trace, we have some couple more questions from the public.
Yes, we do. Okay. Jim Borer, he says, "Dear Board, when will the Bible study in the chapel be resumed? I feel the inmates are ready and are really in need of that. Also, when will the book distribution be continued?"
Go ahead, Tim.
I just didn't want to speak without getting the say so. At this point in time, we're doing this literally day by day. You know, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I'm glad to hear that Lackawanna County is at about 46% with the immunization program. We're just not there yet. We just had an issue, again, one of our housing units in one of the blocks, and we have 2 officers unrelated to that who are out because of COVID related. It almost seems like I'm not saying it's on an upswing, but every day I read the local newspaper, and we're on a roller coaster. We're up or down. We're up or down. Things aren't stable yet. So it's not something that we're entertaining at this point, because the more people that are coming in here, the more likely somebody's going to bring that in and individuals are going to potentially get sick. Regarding the book distribution, that is something that I know that Bev DeBarros has mentioned a couple times. I'm going to check with I'm going to check with Paulina Orzel. She's our acting deputy warden of operations, and I'm going to see what we can do and what we are doing, because right now I couldn't honestly give you the straightforward answer just where we're at on this particular item with the books. So I'll touch base with her. I think it's important that we give people things to do, because you know what they say about idle hands. So
I think that if the book distribution can be resumed, then I'm all in favor of it. I don't know anybody who's not. Okay. What's next, Trace?
Okay. So the next one is from Terrell Mosley at the Lewisburg Prison Project. He says, hello, I hope all is well. I'm writing this in hopes that someone could provide information on the MAT treatment program at your facility, how many people utilize it, etc. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Well, I remember in our review of the proposals for the new medical provider, there was a fair amount of attention devoted to that. So, Tim, maybe you can respond to that.
yeah, what I was going to say was that I'd be more than happy to get some actual stats to report next month regarding the number of individuals who are participating in medical assisted treatment. I wasn't prepared for this question, so it's not like I could cite, of the 600 individuals here, we have 58 of them who are, I don't have those numbers. So I mean, if it's all right with everyone, I can actually get a report from WellPath, our medical provider, for next month, and I can ask them for that information and any other information that you'd like.
I just had a conversation with Deputy Warden Purvis. I forget why. Oh, I was doing something with Mark Powell for Fox News on the prison, and I asked her about MAT, and she said that WellPath was they are currently, as we speak, setting up that program. And because I remember asking if they were going to do I don't think they're going to do methadone, but anyone who comes in who's on Suboxone, they're going to keep them on Suboxone. And then Vivitrol, they're going to give them before they leave. But I think they're still in the early stages. I don't know if it's been implemented yet. So Tim, would you find out about that?
I certainly will. And like I said, I can make it part of my monthly report to include that information.
And confirm that methadone isn't going to be used. I think that, but I don't want to misspeak.
I can guarantee you it won't be, because you need a special license for that, for dispensing.
Okay, so it would be like people who come in on Suboxone and then the Vivitrol shot, which I'm a big fan of. Okay.
Lackawanna County, the treatment courts have a program that involves Vivitrol.
Okay.
Okay.
Tim, can you respond directly to Mr. Mosley?
Yeah, I'll forward the warden the email so we can.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Our next one is from Alicia Garvey. She says, hello. When will the inmates be vaccinated? Who will do it? How long will it take? Will they be offered an incentive like those at the state prisons? Thank you for your time.
I'm not aware of any plan we have to vaccinate inmates. Tim?
No problem. I just didn't want to jump the gun again.
Yeah.
There is no set plan at this point. I can tell you that I reached out to our medical provider. The reason I reached out to them is they are also the provider for the Department of Corrections, who have a program in place. It's my understanding that the program that's in place, which is what I was looking for, called for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which is temporarily on hold. And the reason for the Johnson & Johnson, it's a one-shot application. And that makes sense when you're talking about a county jail and the revolving door that's involved here. We could have somebody come in and get his shot tomorrow, and then he's gone. And there are complications with coming back to a correctional facility to get shot too. So I thought it was perfect. And then they put a halt on the Johnson & Johnson thing temporarily. WellPath, the folks from WellPath were checking, our local ones, were checking with the folks that work in the Department of Corrections to kind of emulate the program they have. And that's our intent. We just have to kind of wait a little while and see what's going on with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, or if some other one-shot vaccine comes out.
And there's no, I mean, there's not going to be any forcible vaccinations. If inmates choose to take it, they will. But okay. Anybody else, Trace?
My final email is from Bev DeBarros, and she writes, "Dear friends, this is in response to the proposed new $20,000 contraband detector. Maybe the two $100,000 detectors that were previously purchased would suffice to check possible counterfeit mail that might contain drugs. In addition to the two walkthrough scanners, we have the wands, which I have seen used on books, the guitar when we have music and Bible class, and etc. When purchased, there was a service contract also, to my understanding, was to upgrade and recalibrate as needed. So there probably is already the solution to checking suspicious mail for drugs. Also mentioned was using the new wand to detect a possible bomb in the parking lot if an unidentified package was found there. Our city has a bomb squad for that. In fact, I was told that the city and the county each have a bomb sniffing dog. Also about the books for our inmates. At the beginning of 2020, it was agreed at the prison board meeting that we could use $1,000 from the commissary account to purchase important books to make our selection of donated books more complete. We spent the first $300 before the COVID shutdown. So I propose the balance be used to buy and distribute trade manuals in the field of electricity, plumbing, carpentry, nursing, paralegal, and more. Thank you." And that's it.
Okay, so that wasn't really a question. It was more a couple of observations. I don't know that the detectors that we've purchased already are sensitive enough to detect drugs. They can see contraband hidden in things, but not drugs themselves. So I'm not sure that that would be they're appropriate, but certainly I have no problem with purchasing the manuals that she talks about. I think that's an excellent suggestion.
Your Honor, if I may?
Yep.
Just for clarification purposes, when we purchase the whole body scanner, think of that as kind of like a super X-ray machine. What I'm looking with this other thing, it's an ion scanner. It can sense residual particles of illegal drugs.
Right. Right.
Two different technologies altogether. Yeah. And finally, I love that idea about using some money to purchase trade manuals. I think that's a great idea.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, that's it on correspondence, Trace.
That is it.
Okay, any members have any other business? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all very much. We'll see you next month on the big screen, and if not sooner in person.